I too.
No, but
All right, here we are. All right, well, welcome everybody. It looks like Lance brought show and tell. Is that
Well,
accurate?
I know I bought stuff to get rid of.
Oh, get rid of.
I don't want to get any more.
Don't want it anymore. I know my husband wishes I would do that too. What do we say? It's February 6th, 2023, and here we are. This is our first meeting for 2023. And I saw a message that Dana sent me a long time ago, like a half hour ago, and then I accepted 2 dogs that I'm dog sitting, so I don't know what's going on. I'm here, so we can get started with, did we get a chance to send out the minutes?
Yeah.
Right, so you did get to see December minutes?
Yep.
All right, did they look good?
Special.
Right? All right, so I make a motion that we accept the minutes from December.
I'll second.
Okay. And all in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Motion approved, thank you. All right. I'm trying to pull up the agenda right now. Usually I have one printed out, so I can do it that way. Oh, Sunny, I should probably talk louder, right?
No, you're fine.
Okay. All right. So right now I'm just trying to pull up the agenda so I don't get too far off kilter, and it does look like Sunny sent me some information too, so we're gonna cover this as well. So there's some different things that we're gonna add as we go. I don't know that we necessarily have to add them.
yeah, you have to add them ahead of time, so
How would you like me to add them?
I will make a motion
Okay,
to add a few things to the agenda for tonight.
okay, and do we have to say what they are?
Yep.
Okay,
So under so I would motion that after the review of council minutes, we add in music in the parks discussion and MnDOT communication about land by 52. Kind of what Kevin McDermott was here last time, I think it was December, talking about, just an update. We'll make
Okay.
those 2 motions. Second.
well, there's more in here.
We are going to include those in the sections of like the grant. We have a grant section, so we can include that in the
Okay.
grant section, and then, or actually in we'll include it in the city council minute review. One counselor up in the grant section. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay. So I just need
Awesome.
a second to approve the agenda with
And
those
then
additions.
there's just a point of information, a longtime former member and former resident of Orinoco passed away. Just a couple days ago, Charlie Fry.
you did.
He did. Oh, I know. She lost both her parents.
Oh, yeah,
Her mom. I
her
mean,
mom passed away
really-
last year.
Well, yeah. I didn't know he died.
Yeah, it
Thank
it
you.
was just in the Saturday paper.
Okay. Colleen's on P and Z now, his daughter.
Oh, because she lives in their house.
Mm-hmm.
So how can we make note of that in our minutes? Just the fact that he's passed?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything, it's just a matter of information,
Yep.
it's not any.
So I just need a second to approve the agenda with those changes.
Oh, okay. Lance, do you want a second or?
Oh, sure. Oh,
Okay.
what the heck?
I know, right? So Renee, just a little background. Lance has been trying to retire from the committee, but we keep sucking him back
Well, I
in.
keep running, yeah.
Yeah, so, and we love him for that. He continues to attend even if we lock him out. He texted me, I'm locked out. So I'm glad you guys heard him or found him. So I guess the way that we could honor Charlie is I don't know, we've talked about that a little bit, right? But he was super involved in parks many years ago, especially when they were doing the new launch.
When he sampled water for down at the river for a long time too. I remember seeing him there.
Yeah. So I don't know how we can mention them in our minutes, but
Yeah, we can figure out some way, maybe plant a tree or make a bench or something,
Mhm.
something that remember him by.
right? Okay, I'm gonna mail you his obituary. Sunny, is it wrong to put the obituary on the bulletin board?
There isn't any, it's just a notice of death so far.
Oh, no, he's got a big thing now.
Oh, is he? Oh, I didn't see that today.
Is that
If
something
it's-
we can do?
If it's published, then it's a matter of record and we wouldn't be disclosing any private data. So we could
Okay.
do that.
So that is something okay, so I'm emailing it to you right now
Okay.
and to.
And then you still need a vote on the agenda motion.
Thank
Thank
you. All those in favor of the agenda addition, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Sunny.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay. So just to clarify, because there is a section in the minutes about this. So Justin is out of town, so that's why he's not here. Joy texted me back and she said, I think I'm just going to withdraw from visiting the park committee. You didn't officially put my name through, did you? She says, I'm doing volunteering for the Elder Network starting next week, so let me know if you did put my name on the committee. So I'll let her know that she's not on the committee officially, but she's welcome to join us at any time. So I'll let her know that after.
And that we have two open member, well, we'll get to that.
Right, but okay. And then Kevin said, sorry, I won't make it tonight, so he responded in that way. And then I did not hear from Dawn, but I sent this way later than I wanted to. And then Ryland let me know that he was coming, so that was nice. And then, yeah, that's what. So we're still curious about Dawn, and then like you said, we'll have that in a different section where we can talk about our members and so forth.
So we
Okay.
can move on to reviewing the
Yes,
council minutes.
true.
You skipped over Ryland.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, you're right. It wasn't bolded on my little sheet. Thank you, Sunny.
All right, Ryland, what do you have about the Zumber Water Trail?
Yeah, just a quick update. We had a Zoom call here about 2 weeks ago with SEH. And SEH has some funding managers that go out and pursue grants for projects that SEH is involved with. So there's a possibility, before I start that comment, for 2023, we did receive $9,000 from Goodhue County. So that finishes their $14,000 commitment.
That's fantastic.
And we received $5,000 from Dodge County. So I don't, did those checks come in yet? I haven't heard.
I think you've gotten one. I'll double check.
And then where do those get deposited? In a water trail?
It comes into our reimbursable engineering account. So it's an in and out. The SEH invoices come in. There's the funds to pay them.
Can you repeat how much and who we received the second amount for?
So it's 9,000 from
County.
Goodhue
Goodhue, the city or county?
County.
Okay.
5,000 from Dodge County.
Okay.
So right now for 2023, we have between $15,000 and $16,000 to work on the master plan. So the funding, is, the people that work for SEH, they do funding. The legislators work with legislators, and so within SEH, they're gonna see if they can find some more funding for our master plan development work. And we'll hear something in a couple weeks with an update. City council notes. Just going from memory, what I had in my notes. Couple things that with the standing committees, we've gone to one council representative on standing committees and an alternative. So I'm the alternative person for parks.
Okay,
Well, I read some P and Z questions about updating home occupation chart, which is, there's two different charts in our book, or code, and they were just cleaning those up. And then we had a sewer update with the project where it's at, and it's coming along very well. But there was no parks discussion on anything. There was no meeting in January, and
We did discuss that, I believe it was at the city council meeting, that before we apply for any grants, we need to first have it approved by the city council, because technically the city is, you know, responsible for fulfilling the grant requirements, and we have to agree to that as a council before we apply. So I think in the past, we've been kind of doing it a little bit backwards, like, oh, we'll apply or whatever, but we need to just make sure we get approval ahead of time, making sure that the city feels that they can approve or fulfill those requirements.
which is different than the EDA, right? So when the EDA gets started, they're not the ones that would do the grant, it'd still be the city?
so when the EDA gets started, that's, we're working on that right now. And there's applications. For anybody that wants to apply, we go for an interview, it has to be done by February 17. And then, at our February 21st meeting, we have an enabling resolution. We have a public hearing before that, I should say. And then the council discussion, approval of the resolution. And then on February 28th, we'll be reviewing the candidates, interviewing, going through a scoring process. And then at the March 21st meeting, council meeting, we will have a committee, or the mayor will identify people for the council to approve the 5-member committee.
Now, is that a paid committee or just a
Hasn't been
volunteer stuff?
discussed. Typically it is,
Typically, it is a paid
but
one,
it's
so then,
it's one of those issues we'll have to talk about when we form the committee. So then we will, so after that March meeting, we'll look at setting up our first EDA meeting sometime in April, probably. And then at that meeting, we'll elect officers, identify a schedule, time, how many times we want to meet. Dana and I are the city representatives, council representatives, and Sunny will be our executive director. And I would imagine maybe a CETA person might be joining us too, whatever that's he's determined.
But to your question that, yes, great, that grants, that still has to go through city council, that won't.
So does EDA stuff too.
Right, but I think she was asking if we could bring it to the EDA, but no, it's city council that has to approve it, yeah.
and are we, bottom line, are we getting an EDA because the town is getting bigger? The
Well,
city's getting
we are
bigger?
planning to get bigger, so we are
Okay.
putting all of the pieces in place to
Right.
help us grow in a way that is smart and not just haphazard, you know?
Yeah.
We wanna have a plan
Right.
and we wanna be able to offer businesses incentives, and EDAs are really good at that.
Okay, because right now our population is 2,000 something or no?
1,806,
It is still 1,800 something,
that was a 2020 census.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a new
from
sense.
3 years ago.
Yeah. I can't remember.
Okay, all right.
So
Cool.
those are the
Those are
updated-
the things, two of the things that you emailed me about anyway. No.
If I could just, this is Cindy, and if I could just add a couple of things. One, the funding for the Zumbro Falls, Zumbro water trail.
Yep.
Yes. That we discovered that SEH actually has its own account set up. So there's another one of those where some funds were coded to reimbursable engineering and some got coded to the SEH. So there's another one of those things that we're tweaking and correcting. And the other thing I want to echo what Dana said about none of the committees that operate within the city have any authority to bind the city other than the council. So, which is why I was glad to hear about that EAB, because I didn't know anything about it and we had to kind of backtrack to get that approved by council. Because one, although that specific grant did not require any matching, the city agreed to match. So in doing that, we obligated the city to do that, and we needed city approval, council approval to actually do that. So I love that there's initiative by each of the different committees to want to do that and be helpful. And I won't rain on anybody's parade to do that, but it does need to go through proper channels.
Perfect. Yep, I think that we can probably tidy a lot of things up in our little department over here.
And I'm here to help. Believe me, I'm here to help.
And Renee's here to be our camera lady.
No, she does a lot more. We need also to, just, I'm gonna put this in the council minutes too, just because it does affect, the one city council rep does affect this, so we do now have 2 open seats that we should,
Oh, here.
2 open seats for our committee to be up to.
because aren't we a 7-person? Or are we 5?
I don't know, yeah.
Are we 5?
I don't know that it's really determined. I think we're just whoever, we're hopeful, we're happy.
I think it says 7, so I think.
Does it say 7 someplace?
Yeah.
I feel like,
But we've never had 7, we've had up to 6, but
Okay.
it never stays that way very long.
So maybe another thing that we need to start thinking about is creating bylaws for this group and like some actual hard.
well,
A hard
cause
and
like,
fast.
what is all that scoop about? Like, when I first came into play, we were trying to save Lake Shady. And then we know how that went. So now, and that's what all that Lake Shady restoration stuff was, but we
Well,
never like did.
No,
official
there was
stuff.
a Parks and Trails Committee before there was a Save Lake Shady group
Before or after?
before.
Before, okay. And right now I'm looking at the Parks and Trails on our city website. And of course, that's not gonna say too much in it, but it is showing. It is showing Dawn, Rylan, Dana, Lance, Justin, and then Christian Foreman, who's in college now. Ron Fuller, Joey Bertzinger, Kevin McDermott, and Kane Dolan as members, but there's nowhere in here that
They're not
says,
members, they were never approved by the council.
right,
Or us.
I don't know if I was ever approved by council either. I just agreed. Right?
So I guess
Then you're illegal.
I don't.
we need to maybe do some digging and figure out if we have some bylaws, and if not, Sunny, would you be so kind as to help us craft some?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So typically cities have these committees, like planning and zoning is probably super
They're organized.
organized.
I was on planning and zoning 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, I can look in my folder at home that's got all the old stuff in it, and maybe there's still something in there about all that. I haven't paid a lot of attention to it recently, so.
Yeah, cause is Scott Sorensen even around? For planning and zoning?
January of 2022, there were 7. Looking at the minutes are, I mean, it was Katie,
Right.
Leah, Lance, Christian, Orman.
Mhm.
He was our teenager
And
representative.
absent was Justin and Ron Fuller.
See, Ron just,
Ron's on Lake, lives on Lake
I
Zumbro.
think he was just a
A
visitor,
Well,
so.
Justin, so there were 6.
who was the secretary when I first started?
Peter.
He moved, right?
Yeah, Peter Sanders is in Florida now.
Yeah, but he was on it, so I think we had.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
so that'll be, I'm gonna put that in our, at the bottom and kind of
To-do
something,
list.
to-do list, our task list, something to work on, so everybody can kind of look through,
And make this more official.
maybe, maybe it's down there, some record of it down in the dungeon, Sunny.
Well, right
Maybe.
now, I'm even looking at stuff from 2007 right now in front of me too.
Shoot,
What?
I forgot to add that.
What did you forget?
Is there a Carol Cowden section in this agenda?
Mhm.
Okay. good.
Yes.
Yeah,
Good.
yay. All right, so where are we at, Dana? I'm
All right, so,
distracting myself here.
we can start. If nobody else has any updates from city council, or Ryland, do you have any other updates for that? Then we can move to the new things that I suggested, which are music in the parks and MinDOT. So Ryland, do you wanna?
So there's a sheet, several sheets there. We talked about this back in November. We talked about it in December within our minutes. I think. So those are 3 groups that I'm familiar with. And it's just kind of a trial to see if there's interest. There's 3 groups. Purple Berry Pie, which is a group of 3 ladies and accompanist. Uptown Jazz and Classic Brass. So I did a couple things in the last day or so, or really longer. So those are dates that those groups are available. Between those groups, it's about 20 people, so it took
Yeah,
a lot of emails this afternoon to get all straightened out, so. June 4th, July 2nd, and July 23rd. Renee said those dates are available for the shelter in the park. We have about $1,500 in our recreational budget for parks and recreation.
how much did you say?
1,500, that's the right place to take it from,
1,500 in the what part?
get you the official
Okay,
recreational. Just a minute. Not quite there yet. Recreational activities. Account number 145-120-42996. That's from our September 20 budget workshop.
And is this from the parks?
Parks and
Recreation?
Recreation.
T-ball might be included in there, she's wondering.
What's that?
T-ball might have been put into that one, so we might want to check and make sure that all those funds are.
I thought fees covered a lot of that too. Fees collected for that too.
There is, but I'm just saying that part of that 1,500 might be part of theirs still. Cause I think that's where we put all of
There's
theirs.
also $3,000 in miscellaneous expense. Another,
I just would want to have that double checked. So they should still have some more for last year.
so my thoughts are to the committee would be is that we do a Parks Committee sponsor it this year, but going forward, it'd be nice to come up with a separate citizens group, if you will, to go around and get sponsorship from the businesses and whoever wants to donate, which is typically what Pine Island, Stewartville.
Mhm.
Some road, they do a lot of their own music program, concert series they call it.
Yeah,
So those funds are like in Pine Island and Stewartville, just picked up the Stewartville one at the home shows, yes, this weekend and for every Wednesday night from June 7th to August 2nd. 3, 6, 8 of them. And my thoughts were the June and July dates. It's June 4th is early, but the 11th date was taken like every 3 weeks, but the July 2nd, July 23rd, but then with the National Night Out in August and Gold Rush in August,
Mhm.
I thought it was a little much to do anything in August, but that's.
What nights are these?
What's that?
What nights of the week?
It's a Sunday night from
Oh,
7
that's
to
nice.
8.
Okay.
Gentleman that I worked with on these 3 groups. I said something, did we pick a right night? And he said, well, there's music every night of the week except Monday night throughout the whole community.
Mm,
Pine Island is, and Riverside concerts in Cedar
mhm.
Rapids and
Rochester,
Rochester are Sunday.
Thursdays on
Somebody's
Burn,
Tuesday,
and then
Wednesday Stewartville.
And Burn. Wednesday's Burn too, Burn pizza.
Birdville, Burn, yeah. Yeah. So he said it really didn't make, I thought once about maybe doing Wednesday night or proposing that, but he said they're all taken care of, so, or they're all,
Yeah, it's
something
hard,
going on.
right? It's hard to pick a night. I like a Sunday night. That's kind of pleasant. That's kind of a nice night to.
So the shelter bathrooms be available, there's power at the shelter. People bring their lawn chair. I also threw a note in there about when they want to do root beer floats at one of them,
Yeah, that'd be fun.
root beer and ice cream and cups and
Mhm.
so by March, we should find out if council will let us spend the amount of money under a certain thing, because we can't just spend money without,
you'd recommend, a motion to recommend to approval of council, yeah.
okay, and am I seeing 1,050,
Yes, I think that's right.
right? That's hard to say.
Well, and if we were to serve.
Yeah, then we need a little bit of money for the root beer float stuff.
So you could do an up to,
Yeah, up to 1,200 or something, or up to, wait, 50,
1,200 or something.
up to $1,200. I'll make a recommendation that we suggest this to council. I'll make a motion that we recommend that council approves music in the park nights for the dates suggested with a total amount of money up to $1,200.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed, same sign. Now, this is what, Sunny, I have a Rogers, wait, where is it? When am I supposed to say discussion? I feel like we've already discussed.
That
I
was
have the
before
book.
that was before we. That's
Voted?
before we vote, so after the second.
Right.
We kind of discussed before I made the motion, so.
Right?
On
Right.
that one,
Do you want me to say discussion or are we okay? Am
but
I-
you
Ship has sailed.
I know, but.
typically, there's a motion made and a second, and then you can ask if there's any further discussion, otherwise call for the vote.
Okay, so call for further discussion before the vote, after the motion, okay,
After the second.
and after the second. All right, thank you. All right, you feel like you're just kind of in the sky. All of a sudden, your voice comes out, but. All right, it's good.
Katie keeps looking towards the ceiling, Sonny, so
yeah.
get up there someplace.
I have that screen there, I can see your name. Okay, so motion and second, we've already figured that all out, so we're gonna
We're done.
we have a line item on the agenda for. Did we already miss the window for February? Is that gonna have to wait till March?
We'll bring it to the February meeting.
Yes,
So that one can go to the February meeting. And we just keep an eye out for it to be on the agenda, or do you need us to send you an email? Who's in charge?
Um,
Is that Renee or Sunny? Sunny?
Dana can do, she knows the format I like to see in the board packets, so if you wanted to do a
Okay.
memo,
Okay,
we'll just insert it in there.
And then between now and whenever, Renee, are you in charge of the park shelter? Calendar? Are we allowed at this point to just kind of pencil ourselves in until our money is approved? That kind of a thing? And on a Sunday night, I don't know that we're gonna have a lot of competition, unless somebody wants a graduation party on a Sunday, but,
Yeah, and they might be done early enough too, where it wouldn't.
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I asked her, that's what the dates is.
I'll pencil them in for now.
I'm stuttering because I am seeing 7 p.m. That's fine, because it's gonna be, the sun will still be out for a little while. But it's a sunset,
In June and
It's a
July.
sunset
It won't-
concert.
It won't set till 9 o'clock, so
right?
you're fine.
Yeah, sunset concert. I like it. Okay. I don't know why I was thinking it was gonna be an afternoon in the park, but no.
Well,
it's
unless you're
evening,
bundled up in January.
Right?
I
Right?
think we should talk about eventually bundling up and doing a Winterfest kind of thing, so. To be determined in the future, will be a,
Right?
so, okay, so now we are on to just a quick mention. Update. From the MnDOT communication, Ryland.
So this is a follow-up, well, this started back in 2018. Trish Shields and I, Trish was the vice mayor at that time. MnDOT approached us, I guess it was, by the supervisor, right-of-way supervisor, I don't remember the gentleman's name, Tom Streef, I think. Something like that, he's retired now. He approached us because the Minnesota Management Budget Bureau wanted to get the two peninsulas that had houses in Lake Shady off their books, and they wanted to sell it. So they wanted $5,000 for it. So myself and Trish and I think Sandy at that time, our city clerk treasurer, went and talked to them, and that's what they wanted. And they also wanted us to put a fence up between two islands, two highway specs, because they didn't. Yes, they wanted it because of people walking up on the highway,
A safety concern.
safety concerns, right? So we discussed at council, but we didn't go anywhere with it. So Kevin brought it up at the November meeting. So I reached out, I found out who the right-of-way supervisor was. Sent him an email and also copied Mike Doherty, who's their District 6 Communications Director. In early January, mid-January. Haven't heard anything back, so I sent a reminder last week asking if they had the opportunity to discuss it and respond. In my email to them, I approached it from the standpoint that since the dam was removed and Lake Shady was redesigned, the county transferred all that lake bed to the city. So my question in my email was, would MnDOT consider transferring those peninsulas to the city? Don't make any reference to
We just,
selling them or the fence, or just wanted to see what kind of response we got from them. It's interesting because they talk about the fence, but from 51st Street to 37th Street, there's no fence either in Rochester. Anyway, I haven't heard anything back.
Okay.
In process.
And
If
Sunny,
I-
did you have your questions answered? I know you had questions about that too.
Well, I just want everybody to be on board and supportive if that's of interest. You know, the recommendation can come from this group.
Mhm.
Ultimately, council would decide.
Yes. Yep.
So what I'm understanding is that we should make a motion to have the city pursue. And what year was that, Rylan? 2009, you said?
Spring of 2018.
2018. Wait, I'm saying, where did 2009
Oh,
come
wow,
from?
yeah.
Jeez. Jeepers. So not long ago, okay. And you're more, at this point, more interested in having them.
Transferred.
Transfer.
It's more of a question as to what their proposal is. I mean, Ryland seems to have made a proposal that they just transfer the title to the city. And then we would have responsibility for it.
Mhm.
No mention of money.
Right. What do we think about that as a committee?
As long as there's no mention of money, I'm happy.
Yeah, what I see in Pine Island is they have to deal with the county owning the main road through town. And so then the county makes more decisions than the city can. And so then we got rid of those four-way stop signs, which they drove me nuts, but they're great. So it's one of those deals where right now we're at the mercy of MnDOT deciding what's gonna happen to that land when we're trying to create more recreational
Yeah,
things in town here.
yeah, I understand the fence part of it. That's probably something, but of course, if up to their standards, that could be another $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
Just
The argument is, why is it our responsibility?
Yeah, exactly. Why,
It's
yeah, it's
MnDOT
their
fence.
doggone highway.
It's their highway.
That's right.
The fence.
That's right.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
They have a
So,
whole lot more money than we do, so.
Right.
yeah, no kidding. They get better access to more taxes,
So
right?
they didn't ask all the property owners along 52 to pay for that fence, so
So,
No.
we all pay for it.
yeah, exactly.
So it looks to me like you emailed a Brian Veranen.
Yes.
Okay. So he works for MnDOT doing something.
Right
Right
away
away
supervisor.
Okay, what'd you say?
The right of way guy.
The right of way guy? Okay. Yeah, this email that you sent him is wonderful, so thank you. And then it looks like you even have. So you have a map that you included. So that's cool.
You want to send that to the county or the committee members, I think would be a good idea.
Right? How does this one work? Like, who owns that retention pond on the north side? Who owns retention ponds?
MnDOT.
It's MnDOT, right?
It's a dry water holding area, but yeah. I don't think there's any water in it.
Because the green shaded areas are the areas that we're concerned about,
Yes.
right?
It's where the bagpipe music used to come from.
I know. Well, here it says proposed conveyance to Olmsted County at Lake Shady for park purposes. So what does that mean? That's actually by
It's a lake
MnDOT.
bed.
Like,
And it says it's a 2013 aerial photography. Assessed in 2015. Lake date was 2008.
Rylan, correct me if I'm wrong, but it did go to the county first and then from the county to the city,
yes, that was.
Orinoco Park.
Right, we did the construction in 2016, took the dam out, redesigned the river, and that was completed in December of 2017. And there was a 1-year warranty to December of 2018. And the county passed a resolution, it should be in the files, that identified the
But the retention. pond-
lake bed and all the property IDs were all transferred to the city. of
Oh, that's where the.
But how was that retention pond there in 2008?
Because they redid the
It
highway.
was designed, it was part of the
Right.
MnDOT project.
So this is because this is closer to when the new highway came in
Yes.
versus any
That was-
other stuff. And then the river's
That-
changed a
that-
million
yeah.
times since. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
There used to be houses on those peninsulas.
yeah. Mr. Anderson,
George, yep,
yeah,
other parks guy.
yeah. Okay. All right. So we have two things we'd like to bring to council,
We need to make
Need a motion.
Right.
a motion to,
okay,
we need to, somebody else should probably make this one, just because I keep
Yeah.
making all of them,
I'll,
but.
I'll make a motion that we, see, the way I say it is silly, so how do we make it nicer? Cause I was gonna say, I make a motion that we put an agenda item on the council,
We,
or how do I say it? Lance?
To recommend,
we recommend that
There we
the
go.
council
pursues this action.
pursue transfer of those properties along on the edge of Lake Shady, the former Lake Shady from the DOT to the city.
Do we say transfer right away, or do we find out what the status is, or what do we say? We can say transfer, right?
Proposed transfer,
We're talking to MnDOT
yeah.
about the peninsulas.
Now, at this point, it makes sense for you to be the one emailing, because it's not like we need Stan Tech to be doing anything, because they're doing the other stuff. Okay.
I'll second.
You're gonna second, okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I'll send a memo for that too, Sunny.
Thank you.
All right. What's our,
If I could just back up one item on for the music in the park. We do have a fee for rentals. So, I don't know if your memo is going to recommend that those be held without fee to the group, or just a
Well,
thought,
yeah.
throwing that out there.
Okay.
It's city sponsored.
It's a
so
city
it seems-
sponsored, like
Seems,
National Night Out.
seems like it would
Charge
be
for
like
that.
National Night Out, yeah.
so we need to like get that in writing or something? To say this is what we charge?
I would just like it to be clarified. Cause you're the ones putting this idea forward from this committee. So I think the recommendation to council is that the council also waive any rental fees for the park.
So we need to amend that motion.
I'll make a friendly amendment.
Mhm. That's right.
Request that the council waive fees for the rental of the shelter.
So Dana had made that motion, so it's appropriate for her to do the amendment, and then Lance, you seconded it, so if you want to second the motion as amended, that's appropriate.
Boy, do I.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye, opposed, same sign.
I said I earlier. I meant to say I earlier, but I didn't vote and I apologize because I was typing. So
I know,
too-
it's
I
crazy.
too approve, not.
Right, so, motion carries. All right,
Thanks, Sunny. That was a good.
yeah, that's
Good
good.
catch. Okay, so now we can move on to our, going through our. Well, you have the all parks first, and I never know what,
I don't have all parks, do I?
it says all parks. I don't know what that means, but
I think I have all parks because we were talking about, the natural stuff, or maybe when we were talking about, I think I have all parks there for when we have porta potties, when we're talking about that, I don't know.
I don't know either,
I
but
don't know either.
age-friendly Orinoco is under here, and I do have
Okay.
survey results that we can go through quickly.
Are we skipping Lance?
Oh, natural wood, this is one of those, it's update in spring, so. Katie, when we don't have anything to talk about, just take it off.
Then I'm gonna forget, but you're gonna remind me, right, when
Well,
you do
what?
stuff?
Well, we
Your-
have, yeah, because
Your
otherwise,
natural wood,
Okay, leave the title.
no I'll just put no update. Okay, Lance, natural
Alright.
toy up,
Yep.
no update. Age friendly.
There you go.
Okay, adult equipment suggestions, we don't have anything, no update. So with the survey results and the benches and trails, that all kind of goes together, so I will just give you guys a quick update on the results. We're gonna Joy did a really great job of summarizing them, so I'm just gonna kind of give you her summaries instead of giving you the whole update, but some really interesting things. 40% of our respondents were age 16 above, which was helpful. 40 were under 60 and we had about 181 results. Some of the interesting things that we found that is important to us is that most people, 93% of our people that vote or that took our response said that they did feel it was important to remain in Orinoco as they age. So it's good that we're doing this work and that, you know, we're thinking of adapting our parks and doing things like that. There is, let's see. Some of the big, we did have questions like that were open-ended and like, what would you include and things like that. Park benches were big. So park benches, you know, I think we all agree, we all have talked about this before, we need more throughout the community, especially during Gold Rush, and then, but all of our trails, even along trails, you know, like in Pine Island, there's parks, there's places to sit when you're walking, so we know that, we're working on it, we put it in our budget for the next year to kind of perk those up, so that's good.
because benches are much more user-friendly than a picnic table.
Yes, that's
Okay.
right too. The group activities interests, 32 people
Wow.
answered outdoor activities. And so, again, now we're offering, hopefully with the music in the park, that'll hopefully, you know, bring that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like it's kind of cool because we're almost on the same page with our respondents, and I think we're doing the things that and so our next step in Age Friendly is to hold meetings with local organizations to see, like almost like interviews to see what they can offer our community, if, you know, because some places might not be able to serve us, or they may be able to serve us in the future if we have a volunteer base. And so we just need to get that information. And so that's one of our new goals, and then develop a work plan. So does anybody have any questions about that?
So, did they get the certificate or dropped off?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, we're official.
So we're not gonna have our picture in the paper
I guess
then?
not.
Cause we wanna know when the snowstorms are, it's the third Thursday, right, guys? Or is it the second Thursday? When are our meetings supposed to be? The
I
second?
think it's the third, yeah, but we keep getting, our meetings keep getting canceled, or in-person meetings keep getting canceled because of snow, yeah.
Snowstorm.
Yeah, so it's usually be on a Thursday, usually be a snowstorm.
So,
Okay.
yeah, any questions? Those are really the big ticket items for that.
It's probably too early to talk about benches, so I left the bench kit at the city shop last fall,
Okay.
so it just needs to be put together. That was a prototype of what I proposed to be less expensive than buying the $700 or $800 benches that we spent in the past.
Okay.
When you say bench kit, what does that mean? That it's made out of wood or
Yeah, wood and metal frame.
wood and a metal? frame?
And so Kane knows it's there and
Well,
it's at the
he
garage.
did in October.
Oh, yeah. So. Right, possible a possible solution or suggestion.
Well, yeah,
for-
for some of them, I don't say it's a solution for everyone, but it would certainly stretch whatever dollars that you're
Mhm.
available to you.
It would be nice, in my view, to kind of, if we could establish kind of a standardized one, that's gonna be reflective of the city as a whole, as we try to bring together both the east side and the west side of the city, kind of making sure that we're doing some things that are going to be kind of branding to a certain extent a little bit, but then also be able to accommodate anybody wanting to dedicate
Mhm.
a bench or something. Just throwing that out
It's a good
as a
idea.
thought.
Mhm. We're kind of trying, we're in the middle of doing that with our garbages.
There's,
The garbage cans now that we've kind of started getting new ones, like,
Oh, for Gold Rush?
no,
Oh.
for the city parks, like.
Oh, I see.
Like the, you know.
Well,
how
those
they-
wooden framed ones, those are kind of cool.
They are, but they get destroyed, as we found out, unfortunately, which is just a bummer, and also the.
Flooding or what?
Just can't have nice things.
People,
People?
and have to be repainted, resealed and.
they're more,
Restain.
they're more maintenance, and then
Sure.
also. What has happened down at River Park is like people take the top and then they just pile stuff in it. So this is like, the top cannot come off of these. I mean, I think they're locked down. I guess I never tried to wrestle it off, but. They look nice, I mean.
Yeah, no, I
they're
understand what
blue.
you're saying.
It's blue,
They're brown with
brown top, I think the bottom's blue wire, like the, with
green.
the, it's with the, picnic tables that like coated metal. They're nice, so,
We're down, if you like to stop and talk to Ken, he can show you that you ordered new tables that the council.
Oh,
approved.
sure, yeah.
The process is to replace tables every year.
And those are the resin
Right, yeah.
material.
The green resin.
Yeah.
Galvanized.
Sure.
and then have a few that. You can slide, like
The-
movable benches, right? Wasn't that part of our, so that you could, you know, have a wheelchair,
Oh, sure.
throw or whatever.
But to answer your question, Sonny, about the benches for memorials, we have done that. There's a couple benches, I think, down at
For an
Oracle
open
Park right now that are kind of a standardized green vinyl covered.
that's not what we have for memorials, is it?
That's what Dave Olson's was.
Dave Olson's is,
Is it?
yep,
Yeah.
Oh,
That-
yeah, I
And
ordered that
trees,
for the.
plants.
for
Yeah.
her.
But is there more than
It
Dave
matches
Wilson's
the
out there?
table that's down there.
Right, it's it's the
Yeah.
table that's
on a.
fixed on there on the platform. It's the same color as that.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So, and that wasn't terrible. I mean, that wasn't
Yeah, we
terribly
did.
expensive. It was like $650.
LCCMR funds that we got 4 or 5 years ago. Those were for the tables like at Alice Park, Garden Park,
Right.
Riverwood Park,
They were all the same.
all the same.
Yeah.
The seat and the benches kind of match that style.
mhm. Yeah, I like the idea of moving toward a uniform style.
Do we have more than one memorial bench at Orinoco Park?
There's that yeah. Isn't
There's what,
there? There's one more.
there's a wooden one, isn't there,
Yeah.
up by, on the north end of or not the west end of the park? It's kind of below the shelter. I can't think of it right now.
Or was that even a Eagle Scout project or something?
That's possible.
Okay. All right, I can't remember.
I don't think we need to worry about it though, right?
No, nope. Okay. What other,
Budget items, no update,
okay,
and that should be taken off because we're not in budget season right now,
Okay,
and we've already established our budget for this year.
we
Obviously.
just talk about money anyway. Okay, what about the DNR grant for EAB? Is there things going on for that?
No report.
No report for that either. But now, Sunny, you've done some things with the council about that DNR grant,
I think they just got it approved or
right?
codified.
Mhm.
We retroactively passed a resolution to approve that grant and accept those funds.
Okay. All right, and then, what does that say? ECP grants? We're not doing anything with that right now, I don't think. We just talked about it. I don't think we came up with anything we wanted to do right now.
I don't, what
No.
does that even mean, E ECP?
Environmental Conservation Partners.
Oh,
There was no project that really fit the qualify or the guidelines for that, so that's, we discussed it back in December, but I think we did anyway, but there was nothing that to do with it.
Yep, you brought us
Because
one
it
of them.
was just, yeah, that fit our.
okay. Thank you, Lance.
Sure. I'll keep track of it, because they keep having rounds of that, but if we ever get to the point where we wanna kill all the buckthorn or hire goats or something, maybe we can
Mhm.
look at that, but it's that usually requires a match, so that would have to be a
Mhm.
specifically council approved grant application.
Okay. Have we heard anything we need to worry about with the canoe access? Right,
It snowed
It's
in.
winter.
right, right, and then, the community center with the master gardeners, do we even need that on here, or do we need to wait for things to be fixed and then put them back on?
Yeah, that's a
Right.
good point.
Cause they haven't
Take it
been
off for now until the improvements are done.
until they come back. And then Alice Park, we haven't seen any issues with people trying to get in there, right? That's been accepted to have the driveway,
There's a 4-foot pile of snow in front of the driveway.
right?
So
Right,
can people not even walk down there?
Oh, no, you can
Oh,
walk.
you can,
Yeah,
okay.
there's tracks down there.
Oh, good, okay. That's what I'm hoping, people
Just can't
park
drive
somewhere
down
else
there.
and, yeah, perfect. Perfect.
can we just make note in our minutes for each park? So Alice Park, the access is not maintained in the winter. Orinoco Park access is maintained in the winter. Is that enough information, Sunny, that I'm putting in here? Is that okay?
Yes,
Okay, and then, just to keep moving along,
well, you may wanna, when you say no access, because Alice Park does have access for hikers or walkers or whatever, so maybe you wanna just make note that it's no vehicle access.
Vehicular access.
Yep, that's what I put.
okay. And then, for the previous lake bed, I just have down that trails are being used by non-motorized vehicles, and that's a good enough update. We're not grooming anything down there, and we don't see any need to groom anything. We haven't heard anybody asking.
Human powered use.
Right, human powered use, I like that. And then Garden Park, the parking lot there also is not maintained,
It's not plowed.
not plowed. Okay,
I make a comment about the previous lake bed.
yeah,
I've had a couple texts sent to me from a gentleman named Leon Plants, who's, evidently he's associated, maybe somebody knows him too. He's been, must be associated with the the Byron Bears.
oh, sure.
Snowmobiling. And he's wanting to, put a bridge across the north Zumbro River coming from Pine Island. So the snowmobilers can come through the lake bed, cross the bridge. Instead of going down Lake Shady Avenue, crossing the overpass to get to the east side of Orinoco. And I've been,
Where is that money coming from?
we never got that far.
Yeah.
So I've been,
You can come up with $100 grand. Fine.
so I've.
I was like, join the
I
club,
told you
Leon,
that-
we all want a bridge.
So I've been putting them off and just saying we don't allow snowmobiling currently in parks and we don't have a bridge or money for a bridge. But he says, well, there's a county bridge over on 90th Street Northwest that we could move over there.
Wait, what?
90th Street Northwest, it's off 18th Avenue. If you go into town, there's a 90th Street, it goes right down to the Zumbro River that comes out of Rochester. And it's an old bridge that's, people use it for biking across, you can walk across, I guess. I'm not sure, but anyway,
Is that the Green Bridge?
yes.
That's an old
Well,
railroad.
No, the
bridge,
Green
right?
Bridge is on the north side of Lake
Oh.
Zumbro, that's a county road. But this is an abandoned bridge that's been there for some time.
Yeah, no, I know it's, or I know what you're talking about, because they closed the bridge and so it's a dead end road. And the bunny farm was on the left side and you can walk across and bike across the bridge, but yeah, that's it.
And it's a dead end, you can't get, or you
Well,
can,
no,
it's
the
on a
bridge
trail.
is still there, but the
Oh.
roads are barricaded so that from each side, so that, because you can come from the Highway 63 side and drive down to it, and from the west side and drive down to it.
Mm.
And then, the bridge is just barricaded to automobile traffic.
And the last thing he said to me, he said he talked to the county and the county's not interested in moving the bridge. And
Can
so.
can we
that's
turn
what-
off the recording for
It's
a
an
minute?
old steel girder bridge too.
Well,
It's 100 years old.
Yeah,
I think that regardless,
Oh, interesting.
our parks aren't for snowmobiles. I mean, does anybody, correct?
yes, yeah.
I mean, we don't, we want bridges, but we want them for our own pedestrians, not for snowmobile use.
Now, our master plan for the Lake Shady Bridge shows a bridge across that
Yep.
at some time in the future. I think it's a pedestrian bridge.
Well,
I
I'm
think-
sorry, Byron Bears, but you're breaking my heart.
I think we can probably just respond with, our parks committee is not,
budget- it's a budget
supportive. Well,
issue.
and we're not supportive of snowmobilers in the parks. I think that's a huge safety issue. I mean, there's trails,
You see,
there's
you
county
see
trails.
trails everywhere where, or over at C.H. Robinson. There's all kinds of no trespassing signs and there's snowmobilers going through the middle of the property. There's a
What's-
trail around
what's-
it, but
Yeah,
What's C.H. Robinson?
that's where that data center is at on Third.
Oh,
somebody-
yeah.
By the camper world.
So just FYI,
Oh, interesting. Thank you.
Well, and I mean, the easy response would be at this time, we're not able to put a bridge over. For some of it, it's not even our property either.
No, that part is.
I mean, the Orinoco Park part, but what about across the river from Orinoco Park? Is that ours?
Yeah.
But
Not the
then,
peninsulas,
but not, yeah,
not the peninsulas that you just pointed out.
yeah, we get the peninsulas.
yeah. I mean, we're just.
Moving on.
But that's interesting.
It's really.
That's an interesting,
but how do you respond to him? You just say that,
Not interested.
Not
or
interested.
snowmobiles are not allowed in city parks?
That's what he said. And I mean, there's
That's fair.
no money for it either, or no budget at this point.
He may show up at city council, public forum, that's fine.
That's fair.
Yeah, if he wants
Okay.
to.
And that might give us a little more something with MinDOT too, though,
Why?
in some aspects. Well, I mean, we are trying to figure out a way to cross the
Yeah,
river, but
We don't want snowmobilers.
But not just for snow.
Right.
That's why if you drive by, you see the two concrete barriers and there's an orange fence. Because snowmobilers were going out there last winter
Oh, and
like,
crossing the river or going underneath the bridge, I guess, probably just going under the bridge.
under the bridge and going down to the rivers converge. So
Sure.
that's why we made sure it was, you couldn't physically get down, even though we had the two concrete barriers, there's a 3 foot gap and that's where they snuck through.
Ah, sure, sure,
So I just had to make sure it was all continuous and
okay,
Just a point of history, when there was a lake there, it was so loud in the wintertime because the snowmobilers went racing back and forth at night. I mean, it went till 2 a.m. So, yeah, I love it now.
Yeah, I lived on a lake and that's how it is.
when it freezes, right, good enough. All right. So did you record for Garden Park? That the
Parking lot is
lot-
not maintained. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Have people been using that much? Does anybody see tracks over there? I don't get over there, but,
There's not much to do over there.
right, I mean, people maybe would hike through there, but with their dogs and stuff. Okay, so the new trail, I'm calling it the new trail. What else can I say about that? So that,
But
the,
At River Park, we
the
don't,
paved trail from River Park to Woodland, that does not get maintained in the winter, right?
wait, what are you talking about?
So I'm,
Yeah,
Well-
yeah, that's maintained.
so that one is, so I just wanna make a note on every park, what's
The-
being maintained. So the road to the park is maintained, and then the trail from River Park to Woodland Estates is also cleared?
Cedar Woodlands. is
Okay,
clear.
thank
Yep.
you. Cedar Woodlands,
yes.
For pedestrians, I mean, it's only a pedestrian.
right? Okay. So if we can just make note of that, just for kicks. And then that new trail, the 6th Street Southeast to Timberline Drive, is that something that,
That's not a real thing.
it's not a real thing yet? Ah,
TBD.
to be determined. Okay, that's fair. All right, and then are we good with River Park? Does anyone have anything else to say about River Park? No? All right, and how about Carroll Cowden Park? The parking lot there is not maintained, I would assume,
it's not plowed.
not plowed. Okay, and then you had something else you wanted to talk
Well,
about.
So I was talking with one of the former township supervisors. And he was familiar with, there was a document at one point about Cowden Park as a, and it says it's on the original plat that it was designated as a town square. So it's been historically city property for as long as Orinoco was platted, so that's gotta be in the early 1900s. So it's a matter of finding this document to prove it, and then that means that we don't, that the family doesn't have any claim to the property regardless of what they think they might have.
Looks like, sounds like something that might be in the dungeon, guys.
Yeah, Sunny, have you gotten anywhere on that?
Well, I was just gonna say, and that's another one of those, if we can just find the document.
Exactly. Your point is well taken. And I asked him if he knew of any document. He said, well, it's probably there, but wherever it is, it's buried in a box somewhere.
So yeah, we're working on it. It's still on the list.
Right, no, and I just wanted to point out that there was other memory involved with that. 'Cause that's what I thought I had heard, or, you know, what was in my head about how that all came about.
Thank you for sharing, Lance.
All right. So Riverwood Hills Park, the trail from Istis Lane, actually, well, the trail from Istis Lane is the only bituminous, how do you say that? Paved trail. The trail from that one, what is that other cul-de-sac called? Shady Oak
Shady Oak Lane,
that one is not plowed, is it?
no, but it will be paved because there's a lift station there.
Right, and that'll
It'll be
continue,
paved.
that lift station will stay there? Right,
Yeah, but we're replacing it. So that lift station is one that gets monitored every day. So it'll be paved and plowed.
Okay.
up to the lift station, pretty much in that general area where it's at now.
But right now, the only area that gets plowed is from Istis Lane down.
You know, I haven't been over there to see if, is it getting plowed?
It does get cleared,
Okay, I had,
but part of me feels like they almost clear it too much, cause then there's a ton of mud on the sides, but I'm pretty sure we don't have an option of a sidewalk size plow versus a driving in front of a pickup truck plow. Right? I'm sure that's what they
No, they
use.
go down with their cat, like yeah, that's what they use.
So they could go down with the cat, but maybe they just haven't been because they make it bigger. I don't know, it's okay. So,
So is this lane path is maintained for
Yes.
pedestrian and is there a parking area? There's really no park, is there?
no,
parking?
there's no parking
Okay.
area anywhere. No,
Other paths are not, okay, other
Yeah.
ground, other,
yeah, the gravel paths are not clear in the winter.
gravel paths, we'd like to see them plowed, paved, maybe in 2024 or 2025.
Okay.
Maybe with some grant money, matching grant money.
Right.
possibly.
Yeah.
But we're not doing it now because it's all being interrupted with the sewer lines.
Yes, yeah, there's definitely a lot going on down there. All right, so
the Memorial Park.
is not maintained, open, plowed, whatever we're saying.
There's nothing to,
The parking lot, the parking spot is not. And we don't hear any complaints about it not being
oh, it's not.
plowed.
I don't even go over there ever.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Yeah,
that one is
there's no
not,
winter activity there at all.
yeah. And I'm just kind of doing that just for fun to have in our minutes showing
That's
what,
smart, yeah,
what we're maintaining and whatnot.
that's smart.
Cool.
Any other updates for any of the other parks? Probably not, it's winter.
You know, right? I do try to keep an eye on Memorial Park a little bit just to see.
Mhm.
What I really should be watching out for more is if the snowmobilers are going off trail in there or not. I guess I could keep an eye on that. But it does look like is there some
There's
digging
some-
going on behind Tilly's?
Yeah, from Tilly's south to 12th Street. I'm assuming it's supposed to being in the right of way. That's
Yeah.
where the snowmobilers ride.
It looks like there's some digging going on behind Tilly's. Is that for the sewer project too?
Yes, that's finished now.
That's finished, it's just hanging out, okay. It looks like they're being successful with their opening on February 1st.
Yeah, it's amazing.
They're back working today.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking about the sewer project.
39
I'm
degrees.
talking about the Tilly's
Tilly's is open.
opening on February 1st. It looks like they've been doing good. But you're also talking about the sewer people have been back already to work on stuff too. Good. All right. I should we don't really have an active task list right now, so I could take that off too. You think? Right? Okay. We'll see. I better do that.
The task list, is the bylaws. You know, look for bylaws.
That's true. Okay, does anyone have anything else we would like to cover this evening?
Oh. Sorry, I have,
That's all right.
you're in good shape.
We're in good shape. You can be happy we don't do Adopt a Highway anymore. That was always fun.
Does not sound like.
One poor girl, the Doug Gillard's daughter, she stepped on a tick nest and had all these ticks when we were doing
A tick nest,
I've never heard of such a thing,
nor have I.
but she was just full of ticks after we did Adopt a
I'll throw
Highway.
up.
So Renee, do you have what's your proposal, Lance, for your items over there?
Should we make a motion?
Proposal, It's just if people wanted them, they could take them with them. If you
Yeah, I'm
need-
trying to
if you need-
decide if that
you
should
need
be in our
If you need a
stuff or what.
trees of Minnesota reference.
All right,
Rylan,
Rylan.
thank you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make a motion that we adjourn at 8:23, whatever time it is, 8:21.
because
Oh, I do have one more thing. Could I,
Rylan, we're gonna talk some more if you wanna stay.
Nice.
well, just a thought, if, as we think of ideas to get people out and about, um, maybe look at doing like a scavenger hunt or a treasure hunt, like in St. Paul, they do that medallion thing and, just those are kind of things, throwing that out for future reference on your task list.
Yeah, I love that idea. And what Pine Island kind of does that with their, I think they have a winter, or
Just
no,
had a-
Hershey's.
They just had a winter carnival.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's such a fun, and we could probably, I think we have we have things in the summer, but I think it would be so much fun for our parks to be used like that in the winter too. Like a trail. How easy would it be to just do a quick luminary trail through, even the Cedarwood, I don't know, even that trail over there, it'd be fun. I agree, Sunny.
Park a winter,
Huh?
just move around every winter.
Yeah. Yeah.
True. The other thing, so Renee just mentioned that we could move the luminary trail from one park to another, every year, rotate a little bit or something. And then even with the treasure hunt thing on our signs that we have in the park, could just be a little. I'm not up on this, but where you scan something that shows that you were there. So that would be something that would be interesting to have someone develop if you're, right? Isn't that what the treasure hunt would be like?
No, I think she means like physically plant treasure and then do like hints.
Yeah,
And you find-
clues are released.
Right,
Clues are released. You're thinking of geocaching, I think. People can do that on their own. But we could throw a cool Orinoco geocache up there. That would be kind of cool to do.
Right? So
Um,
Sunny, we're thinking of figuring out how you plant a geocache thing, possibly,
that's not
but
hard.
it's not hard. You just have a
No,
box
you
and then you say
Just
it's
go-
here.
Go on the geocache website and you post the coordinates and
You know what we should do? We should do one at City Hall so somebody comes in and actually reads our bulletins that are in the thing. Sunny. Like in there and it's like, oh.
Right?
Like a little drop down. Yeah, I love that.
Like
That's great.
a magic word, the word of the day or something.
it's like the state parks, the hiking club where you have to hike, I made the mistake of hiking backwards along the thing and we totally missed the secret word.
Oh,
Go back again and
Well, that'd be cool. I gotta start. Okay, next meeting is March 6th. I'll make a motion that we adjourn at 8:25 now.
I will not be here in March.
And you're gonna be here in March.
Okay.
Well,
Do you want me to just take all that stuff?
Oh, no, you don't have to. I'll for it.
So well, that's why I wanted to. talk about it.
I was just cleaning out a tub full of old reference material that I collected over the years and
Right?
I threw out I recycled the pieces of paper that didn't have any use to anybody. And
Right?
then these are just still, tree identification books that might be of interest to some person.
Anybody want a second or adjournment?
I said,
No, because I'm still talking about Lance's
we're
stuff.
done, we're done.
That doesn't have anything to do with the meeting.
Done to do with this.
Lance, I would be happy to look at some of your materials there.
Okay,
Yeah, so he could leave it in your
Thank you.
office.
I'll
Renee,
just-
Yeah.
I'll just stuff it in the folder here and then you can look at it and.
Vote.
Great.
Call for a vote.
all right, so Dana's excited to leave. So I
I'm
make a
already-
motion that we
No,
adjourn.
we already did that. You just need to
You're
call for a
done.
vote.
Just call for the vote. Call the question.
Okay, any more discussion? No. All in favor of leaving, say aye.
Aye.
When did you
Opposed,
get so
same sign.
official?
I know, right? All right, Sunny, thank you for joining us
Thank you.
remotely.
Thank you.
Renee,
See you all soon.
for real.
It's my second meeting of the night and you know how many of these I do a month, so.